Hi, my name is Robert Young, and I'm the saxophone professor at the University of North Carolina, School of the Arts in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Reeds are a very important yet personal part of what we do as saxophonists. Playing on a fantastic reed can not only help you to produce the tone that you're hoping for, but it also can make you feel extremely comfortable in the practice room and also the rehearsal and performance settings. Now understand that your reeds need your attention and your care. If you neglect your reeds, you'll find yourself with an undesirable crop in your rotation. You may also experience all of your reeds dying early, warping uncontrollably, or just not sounding very good. To prevent any of these things from happening, I make sure that I condition my reeds very carefully in the early stages of its life. So, I would like to share with you the process that I take to breaking my reeds from start to finish. Before I begin, I would like to first mention that this is not meant to be the definitive way to break in your reeds. There are many methods that you can explore, and this video is just an attempt for me to share what works for me. The first thing that I like to do when I open a box of reeds is to prepare all 10 of them. I do this by making an identification number on the top of the reed with a permanent marker. I label the reed with the date that it was first played, then I number each reed 1 through 10. To prevent these numbers from smearing off over time, I place a piece of Scotch tape over my writing. Once I've marked on all of the reeds, now I'm ready to play them for the very first time. When I'm breaking in reeds, I like to keep in mind that I have to slowly reintroduce these pieces of cane to moisture, so I don't play on them for very long at all. The first thing that I do is I wet them very briefly in a cup of water. I wipe off the excess moisture, then I play on the reed, but only for a few seconds. Sometimes I don't even bother putting the ligature on, I instead will hold the reed in place with my right hand. I don't play anything too loud or too high. For the first few days, I usually only will play in the mid-range of the instrument. Something else to note is that I play a series of slurred notes and articulated notes to test both of these qualities with each reed. After I've played on the reed, I take it off the mouthpiece. Again, I wipe off the excess moisture. And I make a mark on the heel of the reed to indicate that I've played it once. I store my reeds in a reed case inside of a Ziploc bag. And inside of this bag, I put a humidity control pack. I tend to use this specific pack that's distributed by D'Addario. It's very important to keep your reeds in a very stable environment, and storing your reeds in a flat case with this humidity pack will keep your reeds fairly stable throughout its life. And once I've stored the reed away, I make some general notes about how the reed feels and any sound characteristics that I see fit to note, both good or bad. This helps me to track the reed's progress throughout the break-in process. Now I repeat all of these steps until I've played on every single reed in the box. The next day, I'll do the same exact thing. Once I have about 5 markings on the heel of the reed, I'll now start playing each reed for about 5 minutes every day, for about 3 to 4 days. After that, 10 minutes for another 3 to 4 days. And once I've completed this process, and it usually takes me about 2 weeks, I now have a good gauge on which reeds I'll keep in my rotation for regular use. I'll select reeds that are producing results that I'm comfortable with. I will now begin playing on those reeds in my normal practice session. Now, once I select my reeds, I do not play on any of them 2 days in a row. I try to give them at least a day rest between each time it's played. I find that my reeds last longer and the quality is preserved for a longer period of time when I do this. Also, unless I'm playing a recital, I rarely will play on a reed for longer than 45 minutes to an hour. So this means that if I practice 4 hours in a day, I'll play on 4 reeds or maybe even 5. Then the following day, I'll play on another crop of reeds to give the ones that I played on today a break. This is why it's very, very important to always have several reeds in your rotation. Well, there you have it. In a nutshell, that's the process that I take to break in my reeds. And I would encourage you to do some research and find out different things that you can implement in your workflow that works best for you. And I would also like to say it's very important to know that you should be playing on the right strength of reed that coincides with your comfortability level and your setup. For instance, I play exclusively on D'Addario reeds. And the strength of reed that I'm most comfortable playing on based on my mouthpiece is a 3+. And that rests halfway between a 3.5 and a 3. Now, if I would leave you with one last piece of advice, it would be to always have a fresh crop of reeds in your rotation. And you can do this by making sure that you break in a new box of reeds before your old reeds die. For more tips like these, subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my website at robertyoungsaxophone.com.